Very nice to see you again. You've missed me. I've missed you. Here we are, reunited. It's good stuff, right? I'm glad you're here. I appreciate you very much. I look forward to these Monday night webcasts so very much. And apparently from the email and the phone calls that I've taken in the last couple of weeks while my technician Kirk was away doing some great work for us abroad, you've missed them too. So glad that we're back tonight. We're just going to answer your questions. Next week I'll have a really great topic for you that we'll center our discussion around and some great video for you as well. As we answer your questions tonight around international dating and marriage, romance, and bringing it into your life in 2019, and why sitting there writing letters or chatting into oblivion is bad for you, and that tells you how you can text your question to me. Well, click it and text it. And we as a community ask the questions that other people need to know about, need to hear. And I read it aloud, you can imagine how many guys that are watching are going to think, wow, that's a great question. I wish I'd asked that. So ask it for yourself and for your brothers. We'll answer those questions for you tonight around international dating and marriage. We're looking at video footage from recent social parties in Ukraine. We'll probably dance all over the world tonight, show you video footage from a whole bunch of places. But we've got some great tours that are coming up, and we're kicking off our tour. Our first tour to Ukraine for 2019 is kicking off in 3 days. John Adams, our CEO, is going to be there with our great staff in Odessa and our great staff in Kiev. And a very lovely tour it will be, and a good time will be had by all. I've talked to a lot of the guys who are on the upcoming tour this week. Spectacular bunch of dudes, great band of brothers. So no doubt there'll be some great camaraderie, some good laughs, and a great time as our single men meet our single women. We love to watch that whole process unfold. Man, love that. Can't get enough of that. Love to watch the men and women meeting each other in our environment. So if you're joining us for the first time, again, my name is Bud. I'm here to answer your questions. You click the green box above me. You ask me your questions. I'll read them aloud throughout the presentation tonight. Actually, your questions are the presentation tonight, guys, but I'll read them aloud and we'll get answers to you. I've got some international dating seminars that are coming up. I will be doing an international dating seminar. It's free. It's on February 9th. It's up in Salt Lake City. That's a Saturday from 11 to 3. We'll be at a La Quinta Inn out by the airport in Salt Lake City. And I would be incredibly happy if you decided you wanted to come on down. If you're in Salt Lake City or around Salt Lake City or can get to it on February 9th, which is a week from this Saturday, right? Football season's over. Super Bowl's over. It's that long 6 months of drought with no football. Before you fall into a heavy depression, come out to my free international dating seminar. Tell you all about how you can get on a plane and go and meet hundreds of very, very beautiful women who are easy to talk to, easy to approach, God knows, easy to date, easy to spend time with, easy to create your romance with. Let's talk about the realities around that. I'll give you an incredibly candid, completely honest, non-marketing, fluff-oriented seminar. I'm not kidding, guys. When I give you a seminar, it is a slam dunk, candid, in-your-face seminar. It's designed to give you an incredibly accurate and truthful presentation around the possibility for you to find love this year. International cross-cultural love and relationships. We'll talk all about it. No crap, no marketing fluff. I'll give you lunch, probably an adult beverage or two. You never know. But it'll definitely be fun, guys. February 9th, 1 week from this Saturday in Salt Lake City. And it's free. Did I mention it's free? You need to RSVP, guys, to make sure I've got enough seats for you, because I don't want anybody standing in the back or out in the hallway. So please RSVP bud@loveme.com so I can save you a seat of honor, and that would be awesome, all right? Love watching the video footage of our men meeting our women. I love watching the men and women meet each other. That's incredibly cool. I also realize as I'm watching this, there are so many women compared to the number of men. That is always the case. That's just how it rolls. That is the problem in Ukraine. There are so many women compared to the number of men. It's no different when we do a social gathering. And so fortunately for the men, there are tons of women. Fortunately for the women, they have a chance to meet the men, but goodness, there are a lot of women. And I realize that for all the couples that are meeting each other, and I just love watching couples come together in our social environment, but I realize that there are so many men, so many women who didn't have an opportunity to meet the men. So there's lots and lots and lots of opportunity for you still. And I'll tell you what, man, until the day I pack it up and walk away from this business, When I'm 100 years old, I'm going to do everything I possibly can to get as many of you in front of as many of them, to create as many couples, as many love stories, as many families and happy endings. And that's what I'm going to do. All right, February 9th, seminar 11 to 3, Salt Lake City. Please RSVP bud@loveme.com. And then on February 16th, which is a Saturday, in Los Angeles, again, it'll be Hawthorne. It'll be Holiday Inn Express in Hawthorne, which I believe is out by the airport. Got that coming up. So our next two seminars are going to be in Salt Lake City and Los Angeles on the 9th and the 16th, respectively, 11 to 3 each day. Those are Saturdays. And you got to RSVP bud@loveme.com, so I'll save you a seat. Come on, get your seminar, guys. A lot of guys just sit in the back, don't talk, don't ask any questions, take all the information in. I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to give it to you as straight as I can. Everything you need to know about international dating, the fiancé visa process, who these women are, why they're really here, what's all the crap that you've read on the internet, what's true, what's not, what are the stories behind some of the things that you're reading about. What are the realities? Which are great, guys. The realities are great. The realities are you absolutely should get your butt on a plane and go meet somebody and create your love story in 2019. Hey, we're almost at the end of January. How about that, huh? One down already. Sheesh. That was fast, right? How are your resolutions doing? I'm going to tell you right now, mine, a little shaky. I always set myself up for failure, you know, eat less, drink less, that kind of thing. But I'm going to recommit, because I absolutely am determined that I'm going to meet my resolutions for this year, and I have got some lofty resolutions. A couple of them are doozies, which are very personal, and I can't share them with you at the moment, but I'll share them with you down the road, all right? But it is what it is, right? We got some big challenges, some big opportunities we want to take advantage of. You want to find love, you deserve to give your love. You should have love every single day, every night of your life. You should have it. There's no reason you at your age, at our age, we're in our 40s, 50s, and 60s, right, guys? We can't just let years go by empty-handed. We can't just let all of that time go by that we're not going to get back when we could be giving our love, getting love, living in love, because that is ultimately what we're here for. That's completely why our Creator created us. That is absolutely what we're here. I don't care what you think you're here for. I'm absolutely sure you can't put your arm around the money bags no matter how much you have. And you know what? The comfortable life is great, and some of you have worked really hard to create it for you and your children and your family, and you deserve the opportunity to share it with somebody, and that's what this is all about. So let's have your questions. Question, s'il vous plaît, monsieur. Something like that. All right, hold on, guys. Let me get to my correct page of question asking. Here we go. All right, let's have it, guys. Click the green box above me and text me your questions as we're looking at video footage from some of our recent social events. I'll try and give you good, reliable information and not steer you wrong. By the way, my understanding is I have an international audience. I have some folks who watch me in Ukraine. I'm incredibly thankful for you. You know who you are, no doubt about it. I have gentlemen who watch me in Australia and around the world. Thank you for that. My understanding is I got a few peeps down in the Philippines who watch me or listen to me, and all I can say, guys, is I'm thankful for you. I really am. Believe me, I am. There are days that are really tough. I'm an adult male like everybody else, and I have some very tough days sometimes, and when I do, you are exactly what I think of and what I lean on and my purpose for doing what I do, so I'm really thankful for you. All right. Kenny says, hey, Bud, when you and Joe are surrounded by all these beautiful women in Ukraine, why haven't you tied the no with one of them? I think he means tied the knot. I worry about you guys. Hang loose and take it easy. Kenny. All right, anyway. What can I say, Kenny? I'm a train wreck. What can I say, bro? But I'm working on it. All right. Sometime in the future, I'd like to go on one of the romance tours to Peru, says James. James, do it. Just do it. Do you know any of the women in Latin America that have met or married men who live outside the U.S.? I think you're asking me if there are referrals for couples where the girl was from Peru and the guy was from the States, and I believe I have at least a couple of them. So, James, why don't you write to me, bud@loveme.com, and remind me in an email, and I'll do my very best to get on it for you. But let me tell you, bro, in the 10 or 12 years that we have been going to Lima, Peru, I have received not one complaint from anybody who's ever been there. We have a great staff. We have a very large staff. They've been there for a long time. They do a lot of very specific things for us. They're managed by a great manager. And honestly, I'm really proud of them and really thankful for them. And Lima, Peru is such a great city. It's reviewed by so many travel blogs and travel magazines. You can find out so many interesting things about Lima, the great restaurants, you know, the malls, the events that go on throughout the year that draw lots of tourists. The tourist culture is very heavy there. When you go to Lima, you'll be surrounded by tourists as well as locals. Of course, Machu Picchu is not too far away. Beautiful, rich culture, very, very beautiful women. We have some incredibly beautiful women from Peru on our site, right? Our staff works very, very hard to make that happen. So go, brother. Just do it. Chris says, cheers from Fort Lauderdale. Chris, cheers back to you. Kenny says, you have the greatest job, wait for it, in the whole wide world. Kenny, let me tell you, there are good days and bad days, my brother. But thank you, you're right. Jason says, may I ask something? Sure. Sean says, I met someone that I would like to talk with outside the Love Me environment, and your site says I need to have a background check done. I'm fine with that, so how do I go about getting this done? Sean, there are several instances where you might need to have a background check done. One of them is if you live in the state of Maryland, and that's not our fault, it's the state of Maryland's fault. I think the state of Maryland authorities decided that people in the state of Maryland were a little extra, I don't know, extra something. Or you may be talking about our International Marriage Broker Regulation Act form, known affectionately by us as the IMBRA form. Either way, you do need to have some stuff filled out. There are some steps that you can take. What I would have you do is write to our travel desk. Her name is Anna, travel@loveme.com. And just say, Anna, I want to talk to this girl off the grid. What do I have to do? You may or may not be able to do that. Some women will go off the grid right away. Some women won't. A lot of them won't. Kind of depends on where they're from and some other circumstances. But you can always try, right? And if you and the girl are willing to exchange personal contact information, there may be a way for us to make that happen. I would write to Anna and ask her, how do I make this happen? travel@loveme.com. And good luck, my friend. Oh, Adam, you're so silly. Danny says, do you have tours scheduled for St. Petersburg? And no, we do not, Danny. We have an office in St. Petersburg. In fact, it was the very first office that we ever opened in 1994, and it's still there, and we have a great staff. They've been there a long, long time, a great manager. And you can go to St. Petersburg, and I'd highly advise you to do it because I'm telling you what, I've been there a bunch of times, and it's a wonderful, beautiful, amazing city, one of the absolute best top cities in Europe. No matter what crap you're reading on the news, don't worry, take your typical precautions when you travel anywhere, but go, by all means go. If I could go to St. Petersburg tomorrow, I wouldn't hesitate for a second. I'd pack my bags and be on a plane and go. There are many very beautiful women that have joined our website in St. Petersburg. They're not getting very much attention. They're certainly not getting a lot of dates. We're not doing any tours there, but you can go. Our staff will host you, and we'll do what's called a club package. This is where you guys travel by yourselves and work with our staff directly to have dates arranged every day, several dates a day. And through the course of your week, you're getting new dates, you're getting second dates and third dates from the girls that you've been dating, and you can be as busy and as active as you want, but it's a great, great, great city to go to. So by all means, Danny, if you can go, go, my friend. Mike in Ohio, the Iceman. Mike, it's coming down out there, huh? Or maybe it's all done coming down, but I know a lot of snow and some cold temperatures out there. Mike says, I'm going to get the 7-day tour. Is there a price to use the service for the 14, but not get the hotel so I can get a better package deal with my bundle flight and hotel? Okay. So, Mike, if you're going to do the 7-day tour, are we talking about Ukraine? I'm not sure. Well, I'll tell you what, Mike, just to make sure that we give you accurate information, once again, I would have you write to travel@loveme.com because Anna works with our club clients as well. So travel@loveme.com. Tell her you want the 7-day. Well, anyway, you might as well start with that, I guess. Travel@loveme.com, or you can write to me, bud@loveme.com, and I'll forward that to either Anna or Michelle accordingly. Just let me know where you want to go and when you want to go, and I'll work on that question for you. Okay, my friend? Melvin's in Chicago. It's getting cold and snowy in Chicago. He's asking me to send him some warm weather there. I hear you, Mel. You know what? This is the time of year when everybody says, man, why would you ever move anywhere else? Why would you ever live anywhere but Arizona? When July comes, it's like, man, why would anybody ever live in Arizona? And it's the good and the bad. You just do what you got to do, right? Adam says, please come to Canada. Adam, I'd love to if you'll be nice. Let's see. Thanks, guys, for your questions. Appreciate them very much. Going to keep them coming for you, all right? Want to make sure I don't miss anybody, so bear with me. Adam, you silly boy. But he says, I think not all of the women on your website are real. Lots of profiles are with fake profile. Lots of profiles are with fake profile. Why I say that? Because how come all photos looked polished? All right, so Adam, many women will submit a very, very beautiful photo. If we're talking about women in Ukraine, women in China, for example, and frankly, women in some other places as well, they're not as poor and desperate, as broke as everybody thinks they are. And a lot of you guys think that these women should be in rags. That's absolutely not the case. Women in Ukraine will quite frequently go to a marriage agency and sign up. And when they do, the marriage agency will say, look, we need good photos. We can't just put up run-of-the-mill photos. You know, the better website out there that we work with, which is called The Foreign Affair, has 60,000 freaking profiles, and you're not going to stand out if your photos are blah, blah. So you're a European girl, 75% of the world's most beautiful women come from Europe. Get it done. So many times the agency will help the girl by paying for her to go to a photographer and have very nice pictures taken, professional photography portfolio type pictures taken. I mean, a girl can go to the shopping mall, guys, just like we do, and find a photographer in a shopping mall, just like we do, and have pictures taken for an afternoon with a cosmetic artist to help with makeup, changes of clothing, changes of scenery, right? A bed here, a couch here, a desk here, a phone here. All that stuff moves around. You take these different pictures and different clothing and different makeup and different lighting. You spend 3 hours, you get a model-esque portfolio of pictures, and it costs 20 US bucks. It costs nothing. When a girl's having a bad day, or if her boyfriend broke up with her, or if she's sad about something, her friends will gather around, they'll all pitch in their money, and they'll go get a Photoshop done, a photo portfolio done for her. And yes, absolutely, professional photographers are going to touch up photos, remove a wrinkle here or there, and Photoshop the pictures to some extent. Why do they do that? Because you ding-dongs, when you write letters, you don't write letters to the 95% of everyday women who are on our website or other websites. You only write to the absolute most perfect Photoshop boobed girls. I'm not kidding. I mean, the vast majority of letters that are being written by you guys are being written to the absolute 1% most perfect women on our website. And if she's not in the top 1%, you want nothing to do with her. But you're going to sit here and complain if the girl Photoshops her picture just a little bit. These girls think they have to be perfect in order to get your attention. And yet I know that a lot of you guys are gentlemen, and you're not looking for perfection. You're just looking for an attractive, but certainly attractive inside as well as outside person, a wholesome person that you can partner with. And I'm just telling you guys, if you're looking just one level below absolute perfection, you're going to find an awful lot of people that are completely ignored in this process. And that is a great, great gold mine for you, and that's the truth. We verify our profiles, my friend. The profiles aren't fake. The women look great because the photographers take care to make them look great. They make themselves look great. And that's what it is. And Adam says, some photos look natural. Right on, Adam. See, that's the kind of effect I like to have on my listener. Okay, Adam, Mike says that, hey, you know what? Mike's got a message for you, Adam. I remember this. Mike says, when I was doing a seminar in Cleveland, some of the girls spoke live on the line. They did, from Odessa. I remember that. Cool. And they are pretty. So right on, guys. Sean says, I travel frequently as part of my job that takes me overseas to locations not too far from Ukraine. Is it possible for me to visit someone outside of the tours you sell? Yes, it is. What you do is you write to us and you say, hey, I want to meet this girl, if possible, on these days in this city. And we'll recommend possibly that you write to her. We may recommend that you call her and ask her. We may just call the agency and try to arrange it for you. We're dealing with a lot of movable parts in our business model, guys. But all you got to do is start the process by writing to us and saying, hey, and be as specific as you can, please. It only helps us to get a more direct answer for you, okay? So, Sean, just write to me, bud@loveme.com. Bud like buddy, B-U-D, @loveme.com. And say, hey, I want to meet this girl, maybe that girl. I have some time. I could be in Kiev or Odessa or wherever on these days. Let us know if you've been writing to her or not, and we'll take it from there, okay? bud@loveme.com or travel@loveme.com. I love watching people at our social parties having fun. When you throw a party, what do you want? You want people to have fun. Love it. Represents us well, represents you well, gives the women a great opportunity and a good time, which they richly, richly deserve, right? Danny says, I'm 51. I'm not looking for a daughter. Which tour is the best for normal, reasonable age difference? Danny, God bless you. You brilliant, brilliant man. The good news is go anywhere, because everywhere we go, the vast majority of the 3% of the tens of thousands of men who are writing letters, who will actually get on a plane and go meet somebody, the vast majority of that 3% of those tens of thousands who actually get on the plane are going to be looking for women that are quite young. Quite frankly, I don't understand it, but I really am not here to judge. I'm just going to tell you what will work and what won't work. If you're going to focus at the age of 51, you and I are the same age. If you're going to focus on women who are 33, 34, 35 and above, you're going to have great results. You know, it's a magic place between 35 and 40. Great opportunity for you there, my friend. And you can do that anywhere we go. Absolutely anywhere we go. There are tons of women in that age group in Ukraine. There are lots of women in Latin America, certainly China. There's no wrong answer there, man. Everywhere we go, we have an entire audience of women over the age of 30 that very few people are paying any attention to at all, my friend. So just keep that focus and go get your girl, because I absolutely promise you, your girl is out there waiting to be discovered by you, my friend. You guys should call me up and talk to me. Let's have some conversation, guys. Not now, I'm a little busy with the webcast, but after the webcast, during the week, if you guys want to chat, you can do that anytime. Just reach out to me, dial the number at the bottom of the screen at loveme.com and dial extension 204. And if you have to leave a message, it's okay, don't panic. I'll call you back, I promise. JT says, you guys are asking questions by clicking the green box above my shiny dome, and I'm answering them for you, reading them aloud so everybody can benefit from your question and my answer, okay? We're watching great video footage from some of our international romance tours, our social programs, which we hold all over the world. It's great fun. It's like I tell guys all the time, our social programs, our social parties, our romance tours are like a singles cruise. It exactly is. I mean, you would think nothing of doing a singles cruise if you wanted to meet somebody, right? Lots of people have done singles cruises. They're incredibly fun. What do you do with a singles cruise? Get on a boat, travel around, meet some people, play some games, have some fun. Nice people meet each other, go out on dates. It's very romantic. The environment lends itself to the romance. Great staff all around you. That is exactly what you purchase when you purchase one of our romance tours, singles tours packages, except there's quite frequently no boat. And the water this time of year is probably frozen. But other than that, it's just like a singles cruise. It really is, guys. All right. Questions from mes amis. JT says, I've been writing a lady from Russia. Everything has been going well, but there have been red flags. Could you share a website or means that I could get a background check before meeting her? I don't know. But I'll tell you what you should do, JT, is call me up. I don't know that I would recommend a website to anybody who wants to do a background check on any girl, because I will tell you right now, number one, if you're not right about the red flags and she finds out about it, you're going to destroy something that's quite good. Number two, if you take it too far, then we borderline stalking, and I'm just not into that, guys. I'm really not. But if you've got red flags and you want about that, so just call and discuss it with me. I would feel better. And then if there's something we should honest recommendation for you. If I think and I just want to have more information so that I can direct you the right way. Would that be okay? So reach out to me, bud@loveme.com, or call me up, extension 204 in Phoenix, and let's talk, man. Okay? Anytime this week. Give you all the time you need to make sure you're on the right path. I've been to Russia many times. I can talk to you about traveling to Russia. I certainly understand the culture, I think, really, really well. All right. JT says, I have her full name, date of birth, city, some other info. I did the flower delivery method, but she said she could not accept, citing a promise made to her father to not accept gifts. Is that a red flag? Yep. Yep, probably is. So you should call me up. Let's talk about that. That's a little trippy. I'm not sure if that has anything to do with us or not. But why don't you just chat me up? Let me see if I can help you with that, okay? All right, guys, great questions tonight. Appreciate it. Hope you're enjoying the discussion tonight. I'm so glad to be back. It's so nice. to be here and in this space. I know you guys are watching. I know you appreciate what we're doing. I want very much for this year to be a year when you get on the plane and go and get in front of these women. They're lonely, they're sad, so are you. It doesn't need to be that way. Life's too short. If you're like me and like a whole bunch of other men, you sit around and think yourself into a big giant cave all the time. I had a great discussion with somebody, one of our prospective clients last week, and he did a divorce after his wife did something very unkind to him. So he did a divorce, and it was maybe a year or so ago, and he was now just beginning to date a year after the divorce, which of course caused a lot of disruption and pain in his life. We just talked about the different stages of grief, which is a really fascinating topic that you should read about. It gave me some great clarity over the years, but there are different stages to grief. Different stages to sadness and anger and negative events that happen to you. Well, so you can imagine the final stage, spoiler alert, is acceptance. The final stage of processing grief is just the acceptance, right? So in my family, we've had a few incredibly tragic deaths in the last couple of years. Not a pleasant topic, I realize. And man, the amount of emotion that you process, and when I'm in the middle of processing that emotion, I don't even realize how much emotion I'm processing until I reach that place where you can just accept the reality around what's happened and look back on some of that emotion that you processed and just go, man, what was going on there? I was in a bad place. I was hurting. How did I live through that? It was such a terrible, painful thing to go through. Or how did somebody I love, live through that if they suffered such a severe loss? I know you can all relate to that to some level, right? When you reach a place of acceptance, look, we wake up every day. We're men. What do? We wake up, and if we don't have something in front of us to chase, if we don't have a new pursuit and a new goal, if we're not determined to get something we really want, which is in front of us and ahead of us, what do? We look back, and we stay looking back, and we psychoanalyze the corpse on the table, whatever that is, right? That's probably a really bad analogy, but you know what I'm saying, right? You know exactly what I'm saying, guys. You wake up in the morning, and you look back on, wish I said this, wish I did this, wish they didn't do that, wish she didn't do that, and you analyze it and torture yourself over and over and over again, coming to the exact same freaking conclusion day after day after day, for weeks and months and even years at a time, right? And that's what we do because we don't have the vision in front of us of that new person, that new love, what it's going to be like. And I'm telling you, in 2019, visualizing your next great love relationship is the most powerful thing you can do for yourself to break the chains of the pain and the disappointment and the hurt that are wrapped around you. The clearer you can define, I'm going to meet that girl. She's going to be a brunette. She's going to be in her 40s. She's going to be absolutely stunning and beautiful. We're going to go out on dates. I'm going to give her a big giant bouquet of flowers and the nicest perfume I can find. She's going to absolutely love that. She's going to kiss me on the cheek. When you start thinking those things in vivid detail, you can hear, link by link, it's right, you're getting hopeful, you're getting strong, you're feeling your willpower, you're feeling your masculinity, your male power rise up, telling you again, let's go, right? Yeah, that's right. It's Super Bowl weekend, and I just quoted the GOAT. Let's go. Let's go, he's saying to all of you lonely men. Let's go. Worked for him. Can't argue that, right? Yeah, man. All right. Walter says, but I've got 2 questions regarding my trip to China. Who do I contact to activate my 1-month platinum membership? Front desk, all one word, at loveme.com. Front desk, one word, at loveme.com. Lovely Brianna. Just say, yo, Brianna, activate my 1-month platinum membership. Or you can write to me, bud@loveme.com, and I'll have her do it for you. Question number 2, if my flight arrives before or returns after the tour dates, who do I contact to extend my stay at the hotel? You see, if you want to arrive a day or 2 early and depart a day or 2 late, when you book one of our tour packages, you can certainly do that. Great idea, by the way. Number 1, if you arrive early, you're always traveling far, you're definitely going to want a little bit of extra sleep and rest, because when the tour starts, man, everything happens up front very quickly and very fast. There's Victoria and Elena, 2 girls that I interviewed in Kiev one time. You can watch their interviews on our YouTube channel. Very nice girls. So Michelle Gomez, my great assistant, she is one word, groupdesk@loveme.com. Group desk, that's one word, groupdesk at loveme.com. Say, yo, Michelle, here are my dates. Please confirm my extra nights of hotel, and she will be all over it. Robert says, Bud, I was in the 9/18 Odessa tour. That would be September of last year. Great. I proposed marriage to the most wonderful woman in the world. Robert, you madman. You insane, beautiful man. That's awesome. I would like to hear how you proposed marriage. Robert, damn it, that's beautiful. I hope she said yes. And if she did say yes, then what the two of you will do together is the light in the darkness, my friend. What the two of you will do together is all the light we need in this world to get rid of the evil, evil darkness that we read about every single day on the news, all the horrible, awful stuff that we read and suffer through, to the point where we begin to forget that there's any good and light left in the world, right? Guys, you know what, man? It's hard to do because I like to be informed. I really do. But, man, the best thing I can do for myself, maybe the best thing you can do for yourself, turn the news off for a month, man. Just stop watching it for a month. It's so much dark crap. And you just fill your head without even knowing with all this darkness and the assumptions and the logic that we develop around this dark stuff. But anyway, Robert, you know what, man? There are a lot of guys that I met guys this weekend in Vegas who are good guys with good hearts, and they're writing and writing and writing and writing and writing themselves into oblivion. There are men that write letters for years at a time and never go anywhere, and they live only virtual love. They never live a real love, and the dopamine in their brain tells them they're happy, but they're not. And good for you to get on the plane. I've seen your pictures. You're a good-looking guy. You know, certainly you look great, and you were a man on a mission. You got on a plane. You went. You got your girl. It's an incredibly masculine, King Arthur thing to do. And I'm proud of you because God knows, guys, as a tour leader of 26 tours in Ukraine, I'm incredibly sick and tired of so many beautiful women with no partner. And, yeah, man, if I can support you in any way, you let me know. I mean it. So yeah, all right, cool. Backing it up, get more of your questions in here. Wow, guys. Wow, guys, you're working me tonight, but that's okay, that's all good. Robert says, I was in Odessa to spend time with his girl, Tanya. I saw no signs of military personnel, the so-called martial law thing, right? Saw less military now in January, he says, than he saw in September. You know, the whole martial law thing that the president of Ukraine declared, technically, when you're in martial law, there are a lot of things that can happen, but really nothing happens. So why did he declare it? A lot of people think he declared it because one of the things that he's allowed to do with the Constitution under martial laws, he can control some of the circumstances around important voting events. I don't know why he did it. I'm sure he felt it was necessary. All I can tell you is that President Poroshenko is very friendly to Americans and American tourists and American business and the European Union. We're friends, we're allies, we're pals, we're buds, we're investors. We have no problem going there. Nobody bothers us, nobody hurts us. And yeah, so the martial law thing, it was a big announcement that really amounted to nothing so far. So we have a tour going on this week that's going to be exciting and can't wait to kick it off. I know John's excited to go, that's for sure. Steve says, someone I've been writing to went to your office to sign the EMBR form. She was told the policy has changed. When I wrote to customer support, they told me you can only exchange contact info after you meet in person. I think you misheard that because that's not true. But it is, our policy has changed on that, Steve. So there's a fee around exchanging personal contact information. I do know that. Steve, I think you wrote me this question and I believe we already answered it. Isn't that true? So I'm kind of surprised that you're asking me this here tonight. But once again, for those of you who are asking, if you're looking at, you're writing to somebody and you're asking her if it's okay to sign, whatever little documentation we have to have her sign in order to exchange personal contact information, and she says yes. Many times the women will say, no, I'm sorry, I can't exchange personal contact information until we meet, and there are very many boring reasons for that, but many times the women have an agreement with their local agency who's working for us that they're not going to go off the grid, and sometimes the women don't want to do it for security reasons. Sometimes they don't want to be stalked. Sometimes they're just worried about what will happen to them. And sometimes it really just comes down to money. You know, they made an agreement with an agency that's making no money, like a real estate broker makes an agreement with somebody trying to sell a house. I'll bring you to the market and I'll get you buyers. But, you know, you can't do that to me, right? You can't go off the grid and work without me because I got to get paid for what I do, which allows me to do it for more people. So anyway, Steve, write to me, bud@loveme.com, and let me once again address this issue for you, okay? bud@loveme.com. David says she was told the policy has changed And when I wrote to customer support, they told me you can only meet. It's not true, David. So I'm finding that really hard to believe. David or Steve or whoever you are, you're Steve in one part of the question and David in another. So Steve David, write to me, just bud@loveme.com, and refresh my memory, and I'll get back to you on it right away, okay? I want to be helpful to you, bro. Great questions, guys. We're watching video footage from our recent socials in Ukraine. This is July. Some of the really spectacular guys that I was touring with as their tour leader in July. Very nice. So guys, I'm doing a free international dating seminar Saturday, a week from this Saturday. Free international dating seminar, 11 to 3, Salt Lake City, Saturday, February 9th. It's going to be awesome, be a ton of information, some great video. We may have a couple or two who will stop by. It's good stuff, guys, I promise you. Good information. Very, very passionately delivered for your dating pleasure. And did I mention it's free? And there'll be some lunch and some beverages and that sort of thing. Come on, guys, it's a free. If you can get up to Salt Lake City, come to the seminar. It's great. You'll love it, I promise. 11 to 3, RSVP bud@loveme.com. If you can get to Los Angeles on the 16th, which is a Saturday, 2 weeks from this Saturday, I will very happily do another free international dating seminar for all of you Laker fans. So come out to that on February 16th, 11 to 3. In both cases, I'll be at an airport that's out by, be at an airport, well, I will. Be at a hotel near the airport. On the 9th in Salt Lake City, it's the La Quinta Inn, which is out by the airport. And on the 16th, it's a Holiday Inn Express in Hawthorne. Check out the specific addresses at loveme.com. Do it, guys. Come to the seminar. It's good stuff. If you decide you want to travel with us in 2019 and you're at my seminar, I will save you big money. I'm not kidding. I'm not. You know I'm not. Donald says, what about women from Crimea, Donetsk, and Lugansk? As an American, I'm forbidden to enter Crimea or those other regions because of the danger. You're not forbidden to enter Crimea. You just need a visa to enter it. Border with Russia. You're not going to be able to get in there very easily. If I meet a girl from those places, how do I meet her in person? You will ask her if she can travel to Kiev. And in order for her to do it, she'll have to leave Ukraine, go into Russia, travel around by Russia to the north of Ukraine, re-enter Ukraine. It's going to be a heck of a deal, but she can do it. Some women do it. It's not going to be likely you're going to go there, but you can always ask if she can do that. You may need to give her some money in order to help her do it. You may or may not be able to send her some money to help her to do it. So some of it's going to depend on her circumstances. You know, to not fund the war, I know that MoneyGram and Western Union are really hesitant to let guys wire money to people in those cities. It's an interesting dilemma. It really is. So if you write to her, call her up and talk to her, ask her how realistic does she think it's going to be for her to be able to get out of those cities and come to Kiev, and I hope you get a positive response. If you do, then let us know, and we'll try and come up with a few suggestions for you, okay? All right, guys, great questions. The green box right above me, you can send me your questions. I'm going to answer them as much as I can for our remaining time while you watch some great video of our social events. Look how people are meeting. Look at the body language. Look how close they are. Look at the eye contact, the flirting. It's very cute, isn't it? It's exactly what you want to see when people meet each other in a social environment. Yeah, Eddie says, knowing the difficulty of cultural differences and not wanting to mess up right away by offering the wrong kind of gift, what, in your opinion, would be the best gift cards for ladies? So if you are abroad, look for, you know, first of all, you probably could ask our staff, because on a regional level, for example, in Shenzhen, China, I have no idea, but I'm sure that our staff would say, absolutely, how about a gift card for whatever? So that would be important. In Ukraine, I can tell you right now, there's a chain, a retail chain called Brocard. Brocard is like the cosmetic department at Macy's, you know, great perfume and cosmetics. A lot of counterfeit perfume and a lot of counterfeit cosmetics in Ukraine, and the women love their cosmetics and they love their perfume. They just can't frequently afford it. So if you're going to offer somebody a gift card for Brocard, Brocard has a very good reputation in Ukraine, and it's in every single city. So you give her a Brocard gift card, she can then go to Brocard, she can buy whatever she wants, and she'll know that it's authentic and be really happy to have it. So Brocard is one. Lush is another. You know, if you go to lush.com, Just look up Lush, right? It's very popular with women all over the world, all over America. My daughter loves it, right? Bath products. If she's got a bathtub, she's going to love it. It'll turn her bathtub into a mini spa with these beautiful bath bombs and some of the really great soaps and bubblers that they have. You know, a $30 gift card will buy her a couple of really nice bath bombs and some material to give her a couple of very luxurious baths. She'll love it. Flowers are always good too. Chocolate, and just ask our staff for an additional recommendation, my friend. It's a great question, Eddie. Carlos says, hey, Bud, can I do a Euro Club to go to Spain? We don't have Euro Clubs in Spain currently, Carlos. I'm sorry, my friend. Matt says, Bud, what do you think is a good way to continue communication with a foreign woman after you've met on a tour, especially when there's a language barrier? Thanks. Well, there are a couple of ways to do that. So every country, every culture that you go to, Matt, is going to have their app for chatting, right? So in America, we use WhatsApp. We'll use, Skype, right? In China, they use one called QQ. In Ukraine and Russia, Viber. Everybody uses it. So what I would do is I would get all of her contact information, of course, and when you come back, you'll be chatting. You know, you could email. You could certainly talk on the phone. Google Translate is a great tool, guys. And there are several translation apps or programs that are like Google Translate. If you have an Android phone, Viber, which is the app that many Russians and Ukrainians use to chat, has a fabulous feature, which is if she writes to you something in Russian or Ukrainian, you can tap that phrase and just hold it for a second, and it will translate into English. When you answer her in English, she can tap that for a second, and it'll translate into Russian or Ukrainian, which makes it incredibly easy for the two of you to talk to each other. Now, that function may be available on iPhones. I'm sure it's going to be sooner or later. I haven't tested that anytime soon, or recently, but I do know that it's available in the Android function. So there are programs that you can use. You're going to be chatting. You're going to be chatting a lot. You'll get up in the morning, your messages will be there from her, right? And then before you go to bed at night, you're going to send her messages. When she wakes up, your messages will be there for her, and you'll do that. And you'll chat throughout the day when the time difference allows you to, and you definitely will call on the phone. You know, guys, think about it. You can record a video. You can record a video message and send it to her. You can record a voice message and send it to her. You can practice a little bit of her native language and say some phrases in Spanish or Russian or Chinese. Make a little recording out of it, send it to her, let her see those. There are lots of ways that the two of you can communicate with each other every single day, and that's exactly what couples do, Matt. They meet on the tour, they romance, they date, they take it as far as they can, and then they come back and they're chatting up a storm, talking to each other every day as they make their plans for their next definitive time together. So a typical scenario would be you go on a tour, you meet, you have romance, you come back, you're chatting, you're talking, you're emailing, you're videoing, you're doing everything you can to maintain your chemistry and your power and your attraction, and it's building. It's not detracting, it's building, it's getting stronger, it's going great. Meanwhile, you know in 60 days you're going back for another 4 or 5 days, or in 90 days, and you're speaking about it, talking about it, planning it, you've purchased a ticket, she knows you're coming. That's the kind of thing that just builds a lot of momentum and carries couples forward, despite a language barrier, absolutely. How about it? Adam, you're forgiven, my friend. I appreciate you, buddy. I really do. You seem like a gentleman. All right. Poor Adam. It's going to be okay, brother. I'm sorry. I love you, man. Tom says, question. I asked this question a couple of months ago, but I'll ask it again. I trust your overall feedback and experience. I have no problem attracting younger women that are 10 years younger. Okay, that's cool. Where'd you go? Come back. I have no problem attracting U.S. women that are 10 to 15 years younger. And that's where the question went away. Tom, I didn't get the other part of your question. But as far as age difference goes, look, guys, I will tell you this, and I'm telling you, take this to the ATM and cash it, because it's true. Everywhere we go, women are okay with meeting somebody who's older as long as you're from the same generation. If you're older than her parents, she's not likely to be sexually attracted to you, and that's going to cause a problem for your relationship down the road. Now, if you got a lot going on, I have guys that tell me all the time, "Bud, I'm 60, but I really look 30," and they don't. I mean, I think one person in their lifetime told them that they look 30, and they just believe it. I had somebody tell me once that I look 40. I don't. She's trying to be nice, right? I'm 50 and I look 50 and I'm happy to be 50. Believe me, I earned every one of these wrinkles. Believe me, there's a story behind every one of them. And I think that's how we should feel. I think we should stop trying to be something we're not and just be what we are and be it perfectly, guys, right? I'm 50, honestly. Anyway. You can always attract women who are younger, but the question is for what? So if you're going to date women who are younger than 20 years of age difference, what are they doing? And men will tell me all the time, but I asked her if she had any problem with my age, and she said no. The problem is you're not hearing the ... after the no. Do you have any problem with my age? No, ... I'm not going to get romantic with you, but I have no problem with your age. Happy to hang out with you. You're interesting. I got nothing going on. Maybe you want to go out to dinner. Maybe you'll buy me a gift or whatever. You know, who knows? Why not? Could be fun. I don't mind if you don't mind. You know, I learned English. I don't get to practice it with anybody. And again, you seem like a nice guy, ... Right? I have no problem with your age at all as long as you don't want to get romantic, ... So I hear guys saying she has no problem with my age, but I'm going to date her, right? And then they're dating 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. And nothing's going on. You're just in this perpetual friend zone. And the good news is that women who are probably going to be in their late 20s, 30s, even 40s are stunning and beautiful. They look every bit as inviting and wonderful as the women in their, younger years. Look, do what's right for you guys. If you're in your 30s and 40s, you decide what's right for you. But in order for this to finish, once you start it, she's going to have a certain amount of relationship experience. When you go to Ukraine or China, you're not meeting girls who are defenseless little urchins at all. You're meeting educated, smart women who have learned how to survive, and they're good women. But they're definitely not poor and desperate living in mud huts waiting for somebody to come and save them. And I'm telling you that not to be obnoxious. I'm telling you that to be real, because you can spend the next 10 years doing something that's never going to work, or you can go get your girl, bro, right? By the way, I don't know what your question was, so I just kind of answered it. Tom, I'm sorry I missed half your question there. I hope that was somewhere in the vicinity of what you needed, man. Melvin says he's getting excited about the March tour to Lima, Peru. How many guys usually go to Peru? About 10, Melvin, about 10. So call your friends up and say, let's go. Don't even give them an option, Mel. I've seen you. They'll listen to you. Matt says, Bud, what do you think is a good way to continue communication after you've met on a tour? Holy crap, I think I just answered that, Matt. I'm sorry. Jason says, what advice can you give me? I can't decide between China and Ukraine. Can you recommend anything? Yeah, man, wow. I know, right? Two entirely different cultures, very educated women, and quite frankly, on paper, they really have a lot in common. Obviously, a different set of features and different heritage and that sort of thing. Look, the only advice I could tell you, because both are great and both have a lot of potential promise for you, but the only thing that I could tell you is that you could do a search engine search for women from Ukraine and women from China, and where you see the most profiles that you find attractive, just go there. If you find yourself looking at women of China and you find so many of them attractive, and you find women in Ukraine attractive, but to a lesser extent in some way, go to China. I will say this, you need a visa to go to China. It's $350 every time. So when you go to China and go back to spend more time with the family and with her, it's going to be $350 every time. That may be no big deal to you at all, and if it's not, it's immaterial, right? Whereas in Ukraine, you can just travel with your passport and go and have a great time every time. I don't know, man. I don't think there's a bad answer there. I really don't. I will say this, we have more men going to Ukraine as of right now, lesser men going to China, which means absolutely nothing because we've got like 16,000 women in Ukraine, for crying out loud. But you may be a little bit more novel, I suppose, in some places in China because there just aren't as many men going. I don't know, man. All of that is kind of immaterial, Jason. But I hope you do go to one of those, and I hope you have a great experience. Great questions, guys. Great questions. You're working me. Man, it's a lot. Come on. Let me go back to where we were. I'm sorry I lost you there. John says, Bud, anyone out there for me? I'm 73 this coming March. Or am I out of luck to find somebody my age? You most certainly are not out of luck. You most certainly can. I will tell you right now, John, if you go to Ukraine or go to China, you can meet women who are in their late 40s. We have them, definitely. We have some that are older. Quite frankly, I've seen a few stunning women in Ukraine, and I'm not kidding, who are in their 60s. Definitely. And there are women in the Philippines as well who would definitely not have a problem with your age. So do not give up and don't assume there's nobody out there for you, because that is not how you should finish out this one life of yours, my friend. If you need any help with me convincing you of that, call me up and I'll convince you, because you got to go, bro. It's out there for you. I promise you. I promise you. Eddie says, I'm interested in a lady from Chernivtsi. That's a city in Ukraine, but no tours are close to her. Would I need to help her with travel expenses so she could come to the social? Great question. Eddie, she's not going to come to the social because she's just not going to travel that far to go to a party. And if she lived in Kiev or lived in Odessa, she would come to the social, I'm sure. You will need to pay for her train, more than likely, and a night or two of hotel in order for her to come in. I would call her up and talk to her, write her a letter or two, then call her up and say, look, I realize we're strangers, but I really would like to meet you. You're already writing to her, you told me, right? I'm sorry. I'd love to meet you, right? And I know that may not be convenient for you. What can we do to make that happen? I have an idea. How about if I send you a little bit of money, which you'll buy a train ticket, I'll book you a hotel for a couple of nights, and look, a train ticket's like $80. All right, I'll book you a couple of nights of hotel in Kiev. You can come in. We'll meet each other. I promise no pressure. If we like each other, we'll spend time together. If not, no harm, no foul, no problem. But I'd like us to at least have the chance. And I bet there's an excellent chance that she'll go for that. She might not come to the social event unless you want to invite her to the social. When she comes to meet you in Kiev, for example, you could always do that, I suppose. But I bet she'll come and meet you. So reach out to her and give it a shot, man. All right, guys. Bob says, I hope to go to Ukraine spring, summer. Can someone here advise me on booking a flight? I can. Call me tomorrow, bud@loveme.com. I'll be happy to. Brian says, who do I need to speak about making my first deposit about the trip to Cebu in August? Call in. First of all, you can do that online very easily, Brian, but we're happy to help you with it as well. Why don't you call me as well tomorrow or Wednesday, and I will definitely help you with that, all right? Or I'll delegate it to somebody who will help you immediately, like my great assistant, Michelle. So yeah, man, do it. Go to Cebu. Dude, I work with several women from the Philippines. I work with about 5 women from the Philippines who I interact with on some level because they're married to men or clients from Phoenix. And there are a couple of women that I work with in the office every day from the Philippines. A few of them are from Cebu. And I'm telling you right now, I haven't been to the Philippines, but if Philippine people are as nice as these 5 or 6 women are, what a spectacular place. Because the women I work with in Phoenix from the Philippines are fabulous. Fabulous girls. They're fun. They're always in a good mood, it seems. I don't know how that's possible, but they are. I can imagine it must be great to live with them. You know, they're just happy and, you know, great with the children. They have this wonderful natural curiosity about everything around them because they're just not exposed to a lot of things in the Philippines. So sometimes, you know, a simple device on a counter, what is that? It's an espresso maker. Really? Yeah. What does it do? Well, it makes espresso. Really? Anyway, it's kind of fun. It really is. It's great fun to have them around. And you got to go. Just go. All right. David says, I'll take the April Kiev Kharkov tour if you will lead it. David, God bless you. To be successful, I need to be led by the very best. You are the man. David, first of all, you're very brilliant. I want you to know that. Your IQ must be through the roof. I'm not doing the April tour. Somebody else will be doing that. And he's a great tour leader, one of our good friends, Joe, the police officer from Phoenix. So if you have an opportunity to be on a tour with Joe, I'm sure that you will absolutely enjoy that. I will not be doing the April tour, but I'll be doing something else. Yeah. All right. Bob says, I want to go to Ukraine. Sorry, Bob, we already got that. What is going on? All right, guys. Sean says, have you had clients on your social parties propose to a lady on the same week as the social? Yes, I have. Would I recommend it? I don't know. It really depends on a lot of stuff, but I have actually had that. And I can tell you right now, if you're going to go to socials in Thailand, socials in the Philippines, socials in China, socials in Colombia, there are just some places where a short courtship is almost expected. That's definitely the case in Asia, in many countries. I'm not kidding. So it's not unheard of that you might propose to somebody. Now, what are you doing when you're proposing after a week? Everybody would say that's a really, really bad idea. What you're doing is you're saying, let's get married, knowing we've got to apply for a visa and it's going to take 8 months to get it. Which gives us time to just make sure we're okay, but my intention is to do this and your intention is to do this. Let's do it. It's very romantic and you can definitely do that. It's not common, but it does happen, definitely. Most often, guys go back for a second trip, and during the second trip is usually when the engagement happens. All right. I want to answer more questions, but that video is so distracting. Many years ago, and American credit cards were not widely accepted. Has this changed? Happily, yes. It has. Visa and MasterCard are accepted in many places. American Express to a lesser extent, but in some places, yes. But Visa and MasterCard definitely widely accepted, I'm happy to report. All right. Adam says, some of the girls look so beautiful. I can't imagine how I would look when I stand in front of them. All of them are tall. Adam thinks he's not so tall. Adam, I think you're fine, dude. First of all, the women aren't as tall as they may look sometimes. It's just a camera angle. And you know, many times the women are standing in heels. They take the heels off and they're right where you are. There are plenty of women your height, even less, many of them, everywhere we go. So don't overthink that, dude, all right? Don't overthink it, bro. Just go, right? If you're the man, you are the man. Whew. Mike in Ohio, freezing from the ice, says, thanks, I booked my flight today for Cebu in August. Gonna pay my deposit on a tour tomorrow. Yeah, man, no worries. Maybe you can hit these guys to make payment toward theirs. You know what? I can in just a moment. Jerry says, having worked and known both women from the Philippines and Ukraine, are there any similarities between the women, or are they totally different? You know what? Great question. How do the women of Ukraine compare to the women of the Philippines? In some ways, they're very, very different. Women in Ukraine, almost all of them, are very educated. Women in the Philippines are smart. More what you call street smart, I guess. More what you call everyday smart, but certainly smart. They may or may not have an opportunity for education in the Philippines. Some do, and some don't. But the women in Ukraine are definitely very, very educated and very sophisticated. The women in the Philippines are very down to earth. What you see is what you get. And that's also refreshing. Women in Ukraine typically come from very small families, one child, maybe two. Women in the Philippines come from large families. Women from Ukraine may be divorced after they met a guy and were married for a short time, got pregnant, and the guy bailed at some point because he wanted to bail. Women in the Philippines cannot get divorced. Divorce is illegal in the Philippines, which means their parents also don't get divorced, and they're raised in big, tight families. Ukrainian women are often raised by women who are single moms that are hardworking, that give them absolutely everything and all their resources. I would say women in Ukraine believe overall in the question of whether there is God. Many of them identify as Russian Orthodox in their faith. I don't know that they practice going to church a lot, even though some of them would really have no problem with that, and some do on holidays. But church services in Ukraine are very, very long. They haven't modernized very much. In the Philippines, I think you're more likely to meet women who have a definite, profound belief in God. They're Roman Catholic women. And I would say that's for what it's worth, those are really the only discernible differences. Now, women in the Philippines, if you travel to the Philippines, the vast majority of women in the large cities can speak English. That is a big difference, because that is not true in Ukraine. There are some women who can speak English in Ukraine. There are many, many more who can speak it in the Philippines. And even the women who can't speak English in Ukraine will work with you to help you communicate. If you just download an app or two to use on your smartphone, or work with a translator, be no problem at all to get to know them. But great questions. All right, Jerry says, I was married to a lady from the Philippines. Love the people and the culture, even though it didn't work out. Right on. Okay, guys, I got time for one more question here. Thanks for the webcast. Why do European women would not stray beyond the 10 to 20 year age gap, but a large majority of Filipino women will? Good question. Got to be honest with you, I don't know. I don't know why that is. I do know look, it's just a cultural thing. Women in the Philippines, I would say quite possibly, women in the Philippines have this extra romantic idea of a foreign husband. Women in the Philippines live humbly in some cases, and they romanticize the idea of an American man or a foreign man coming to the Philippines. I don't want to say it's a self-esteem thing, but it's almost a self-esteem thing. It's interesting, but I've had a number of men who have been to the Philippines have commented that people in the Philippines are strong people. They're not pushovers, but they almost think they're privileged in some way to have a husband from another country. Boy, I sure hope I'm stating that correctly. Women in Ukraine definitely want a man, but women in Ukraine want a man that they are going to be compatible with, intimately compatible with. Women in Asia have an attitude of, if I like you and you like me, we'll just make everything else work somehow. But they may or may not, in their heart and soul, feel a true sense of compatibility with somebody that they're giving themselves to. That's pretty blunt, isn't it, right? But I think it's accurate. I think you have a danger of meeting somebody who will love you. You know, if the age gap is too big, she'll love you, she'll appreciate you, but she won't really be attracted to you if the age gap is too much. And I know that's going to tick a lot of guys off. And my answer to that is, guys, deal with reality. This isn't Fantasy Island, and I'm not Mr. Rourke, all right? But I am definitely here to help you meet somebody whom you can have the best love experience with, who won't disappoint you in any way, because she will be compatible with you and truly attracted to you because she's a little bit closer to you in age. All right. I hope that's helpful. Great questions. Guys, look, it's tough love, but it's love. You got to realize that. Everybody else out there is going to tell you what you want to hear to keep you spending money in their business model, right? And I could do that. I'm so compelling, aren't I? I know I'm compelling. I could tell you exactly what you want to hear, right? Dude, are you kidding me? These women are not going anywhere. There's nobody. They're so lonely. What do they care if you're 30 years older than they are? They don't care. Dude, come on, seriously. And you would believe it. The problem is it's not always true, and that will catch up with you and hurt you, and I don't want to hurt you. So listen to me, because I'm in your corner. I want 2019 to be the year that you get on a plane and go get your girl and don't settle for less. It's easy to fall into a mold of routines. It's easy to give up. It's easy to fall into that learned helplessness that I talked about last year so many times, right? I'm helpless, I can't change my situation, but if you really think about it, you can. It just takes some extreme decisioning, some big risks, some big decisions, maybe not really risks, it just, it takes you getting out of your comfort zone in a way that you might not have done in a long, long time, but you're not actually helpless when you think about it. And I think this period of learned helplessness is something that's very dangerous for us because it robs us of our happiness. And I don't want you to be robbed. I want you to be fulfilled, because that is the light that we need to combat all the dark that's just building and building in this world. We need more love. We need more light. We need happy children who are from loving parents. Have you seen the viral video? Write to me. I'll send you a link. If you want to cry 10 times, like I did, in a manly way, but still. It's a viral video of a young African-American girl in Georgia who's adopted by her white foster parents. And it's just, with all the stuff that you hear in the news, you know what I'm talking about. They gift wrapped her certificate of adoption. Just Google it, right? Girl adopted. It'll come up immediately. It's the most wonderful thing, right? She has a surprise gift. She opens it. She sees a certificate that she's being adopted. She asks them, am I being adopted? And they said yes. And then she immediately starts crying because she's so happy. And that is the adorable light that we need in this world full of crud and crap and darkness. Go get your girl. Go love with all you've got. Go give it everything you've got, and never let this world beat you down so that you're not giving your love and not getting in return, because that is why you're here. It's why I'm here. It's why our paths have crossed. It's why you're listening to me right now, guys. That is why you are listening to me right now, so that you can get on a plane and go realize the love that you want to realize. Sometimes you have to reach a little further to get what you want. If it's not happening in your backyard or your community, so what? Not your fault. Big deal. It's a small world. Flights go everywhere all day long. Millions of people fly all year to all kinds of places, and you can go to Colombia or Japan or China or Russia or Ukraine, and you go anywhere, for God's sake. Japan, man. Let me tell you, Japan. If I ever go to Japan, man, I'm going to eat everything in sight. Guys, if you have questions, concerns, hang-ups, issues, rumors, gossip, NFL predictions, please write to me, bud@loveme.com. If you're going to come to my free international dating seminar in Salt Lake City, 1 week from Saturday the 9th from 11 to 3, bud@loveme.com. Or Los Angeles on February 16th, Saturday 11 to 3, bud@loveme.com to RSVP so I can save you a spot.